This show is presented by the 323 Network. You can watch all your favorite 323 friends and shows on the 323 Network YouTube channel, follow us on all social media platforms at 323Reid, and support us as we continue to grow at patreon.com/323Reid. That's 323REID. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 323. I am your host, Reid Murphy.
I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Look at the show. I'm the captain.
Welcome to the fucking show.
Fuck Scott.
Good morning, college football fans, and welcome back to the College Shame Day presented by the 323. I am your host, Scott Ellia, and joining me today is, I think it's time to officially make it official, Reid. My co-host here, Reid Murphy, who is battling a fierce opponent, the common cold. He sounds a little bit like a foghorn with a head cold, but fear not, folks, he is here to deliver all his insights, even if he has to take a moment to cough up a lung in between takes. Reid, how you feeling?
I'll say foghorn is absolutely right. Co-host sounds so good.
Has Foghorn Leghorn gotten canceled yet? I feel like of any of the Looney Tunes characters, he's probably on top of that list.
No, I think I don't know if Foghorn, I agree with you. I don't know if Foghorn Leghorn's gotten canceled. Pepé Le Pew is definitely like the top, like cancelable. It's got to be like Pepé Le Pew and Speedy Gonzalez, and there's probably like some crows or something that appeared at some point.
I feel like Speedy Gonzalez got canceled the same way that my favorite person to join me for breakfast got canceled. Still, fuck you, Per Milling Company. Bring back Aunt Jemima. And then I guess, Pepé Le Pew, it does make a lot more sense. I feel like that's the person that Diddy emulated his life after, with everything that's kind of come into light. No pun intended there. But
just waiting to see pictures of Pepé Le Pew at a freak off.
Oh, hey, I bet they're out there.
It's probably there.
If you saw that list, that's taking the internet by storm. I'm sure his name's on there somewhere.
Yeah. Damn.
Oh, but folks, once again, welcome back to College Shame Day. We are heading into week 6. I can't believe we're this far into college football season already, Reid, and it isn't slowing down. I taught you guys something last night that we are at the beginning stages of 55 straight days of football between the NFL and college football. So I am going to be You talk about the Sunday, Monday hangover, Reid, that we do for the NFL. I feel like after this 55-day stretch, we are going to be in shambles.
Oh, it's going to be a nightmare. Plus, you're mixing in if you're local and you're going to like high school football homecomings or whatever.
God.
So then you got like high school football, playoffs, championships, kids football with like the little flag football championships. I'm invited to one, so I'll be doing that. Yeah, these 55 days. It's going to be a hangover from hell, but a good one. It's the best kind.
Right. Exactly. And it gets you right into the holiday season. So it's like you can't even slow down.
No.
You can't even slow down because then you have all the hustle and bustle with that. And then what's the greatest thing about the holiday season, Reid? Playoffs.
Yes.
Playoffs, Reid. Not just in the NFL, but this year for the first time, the 12-team college football playoff. I am so excited for that. But Reid, I want to bring something back up because a word kind of resonated with me there for a second, and that is the word shambles, because that is the hopes and dreams of the Fighting Illini in Illinois. Their hopes and dreams of getting into the college football playoff this year, they are in shambles because, as a quick little recap from last week's College Shame Days game of the week, Penn State winning very handedly 21-7 over the 19th ranked Illinois Fighting Illini. It was whiteout. It was a whiteout game, and I don't know, looking at their schedule for Penn State, I guess this was the best chance they had at it, because you look at their home schedule, it's really not that impressive, Reid. I don't know if you took a glance at that at any chance.
No, it's just in general, I'm not impressed by them. But like when you brought up the whiteout, like that's the most important thing that hit me. Like, and we saw it all last week, and a lot of the hype building up to this, things like that whiteout, especially at Penn State, we've seen it year in and year out. That thing is overwhelming. Those fans are overwhelming. That stadium is overwhelming. Illinois didn't stand a shot.
Right. And I mean, looking forward to their schedule for at least their homestanding games. You got the UCLA this week coming up. They'll on the road for a couple more weeks after that. They do host Ohio State this year at home, but I mean, I think you're going to need more than just getting the fans in whiteout time to try to overcome that team coming out of Ohio. But fuck them. I don't want to give them more props than they have to. No. But other than that, Washington, Maryland. So I mean, there's some games in there that you could easily have done it. Maybe they do it for Ohio State. I could see that happening. But boy, Reid, I don't know if you caught any of that game, but there were a couple players that really stood out to me. Running backs Nick Singleton and Katron Allen, both accounted for about 100 yards rushing, scoring a touchdown. I mean, Nick Singleton alone, there was a second half surge, got that quick 4-yard touchdown run, gave Penn State the lead 14-7 on their opening drive of the second half. And that Penn State defense, boy, oh boy, did they had a showing. I mean, how rare is it to see one forced punt at that, like just back to back? I mean, they had forcing 4 punts, recovering a fumble, intercepting late in the game. I mean, that defense was just playing like a man on fire.
They're a scary enough team, that defense, and damn, just what do you feel of them as a general threat overall?
In the Big Ten or just in college football as a whole?
Let's roll with the Big Ten, because I think with college football as a whole, I don't see them stacking up necessarily to a lot of the other big players.
I think what's going to help them is the fact that the Big Ten got away from the whole divisional lineup, and now it's just the best 2 play. So that's going to help them kind of make it give them a better shot at getting into that Big Ten championship game. Michigan's looking kind of like they're going through some sort of identity crisis. Ohio State is definitely the top dog in the Big Ten, but the defense when you're dominant to the point that they only allowed 25 rushing yards after that opening drive against Illinois, recording 13 tackles for loss, 7 sacks. They got after the quarterback really, really well. I mean, if you can parlay that performance and rolling it into the rest of the season, they're going to be dangerous in the Big Ten, but I don't have that much faith in Penn State and James Franklin at all.
I was going to say, in particular, James Franklin. Like, James Franklin is known to, he'll cuck this up at some point.
Yeah. And I think he's one of those coaches that you had a great kind of analogy and kind of evoked some imagery in my brain when you're talking about some NFL head coaches that the burner's not quite on just yet to turn on the hot seat, but it's I think the hands on the dial there in Happy Valley. If James Franklin doesn't at least make it to the Big Ten championship game,
you've at least heard a click going on it.
Right, it was a click.
It was a click.
Like you said, I accidentally clicked the wrong one and I turned it right back off again. But he knows it works. But coming up next for them, Illinois, they're hosting Purdue, and Penn State will be hosting UCLA this Saturday. So those 2 games I will be watching very closely. Wheel of Degenerate, for a really quick recap, Reid. It's just a story with a different title. We suck again. We did hit a little bit more this past week. We hit on BYU over Baylor.
Hey.
We also hit on Oklahoma +1.5 at Auburn.
Hey.
We hit the over of 50.5 points in the Georgia-Alabama game, which, Reid, I got to get your thoughts really quick on that before we move any further from here.
Oh, that's coming up for sure. I finally watched the highlights because, like I said, during the Hangover show the other day, I missed that game. Somehow managed to miss it. I was at Strange Fest. Shout out to Strange Way Brewery. And shout out to Strange Fest. But caught that game finally and all the highlights and all its glory. And oh my God. That is not only up there for Game of the Year in college football. I think that's up there for Game of the Year in football as a whole for this season. It was an incredible match. I got takes for that a little later on for you.
I love it. I have a feeling I know where this is going to be coming into because, folks, in the name of continuous improvement, we here at the 323 Network, not just at College Shame Day, but we're always looking for new and innovative ways to, get you the information that we feel is probably the most pertinent information to know. And Reid, I don't know how you felt, but it's always exciting to go through the rankings and give you guys my top 8 teams and my Heisman hopefuls that I'm giving, which I'm still going to be giving you. But there's only one place you're going to be able to find that, and that is on the official Instagram page of College Shame Day at 323 College Shame Day. Posting it on there every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for some extra content. But I want to shine the light on a couple things. Teams to watch and certain players to watch, because I feel like we need to give roses out to people who deserve them. So Reid, I want to start this out with, a team that we're both keeping a very close eye on moving forward in the college football world. And I'm gonna leave it up to you. You can either go first here, or you can go first to the player to watch. The co-host pick.
I'll go with the player to watch. I'm curious about your team because I have a few selections, and I'd like you to knock one of them off.
Okay, perfect. And I know what, I rolled the dice, and I was feeling very lucky, and I was like, he's not going to pick the team or the player that I'm going to do. So I only prepared one. So good thing I'm going first.
Okay.
My team to watch, Boise State.
I definitely wasn't picking it.
That is my team to watch. They're 3-1 right now in college football. Their only loss coming up against Oregon, at that point in time, ranked number 7 in the nation, at Oregon, and they only lost by 3 points, 37-34. Recently, they won against Washington State, 45-24. Junior running back Ashton Jeanty rushed for 249 yards and scored 4 touchdowns in that game. The Broncos have won 8 straight games against Utah State since October of 2015. That's who they have next up on the docket. A couple key strengths that I have for Boise State. Ranked top 10 amongst FBS teams for rushing offense, scoring offense, total offense, sacks allowed, third down conversion rates, and red zone offense. Oh, and they lead the nation with 21 total sacks and an average of 5.25 sacks per game through the first 5 weeks. And head coach Spencer Danielson has put a heavy emphasis that the team will continue to attack success and remain focused regardless of the rankings right now. Reid, how have you let Boise State just fly under the radar with stats like that?
You know what my issue with Boise State football is, and it's very superficial, and you'll know it immediately. I couldn't care to watch a single one of their games because of the field. I know so many people love the blue field. I can't get down with the blue field, and it's turned me off from Boise State forever.
Well, and now you're seeing it spread throughout all of college football, and even high school, because there's a couple area high schools here in Fredericksburg. I think Cortland High School, I believe they have a blue field, if I am so bold to make that assumption. Last time I checked.
They do, yeah.
And then college football, there are a couple that have different colored turf stadiums. Coastal Carolina is one of them. They have that tealish kind of blue. Who else out there as far as D1 goes? There's a school in Illinois that has a red and gray, alternating every 5 yards.
I can get down with that.
Eastern Washington. That's the team. Theirs is just red. Just absolutely just inferno red. So I implore folks to keep an eye out for that. And it's even kind of spread internationally because the Tomahawks field for the Hosei Orange in Tokyo, Japan, it's blue.
Well, see, then they're also off my radar. But that Inferno Red is something. That's eye-catching. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's a great one. But speaking about great ones, I'm very interested to see what team you're gonna prop up this week. Of course, I am also interested to hear your OLIs at this point, but I'm more interested to see who's your top team that you're gonna be watching.
So in terms of teams to watch, I had a couple of options here, right? Like I could go a little more kind of out of left field with some of these teams. BYU is obvious, like that's the one I prop them up every week. I'm talking about BYU, and they're actually good. They're actually good this season. Kalani Sitake, their head coach, has got that team moving. He's got them bumping again. They got a good replacement quarterback, and I think his name is Retzlaff. Finally, somebody to replace Zach Wilson after missing him for a couple of years, and Jaron.
Jaron Hall.
Yeah, Jaron Hall, who was really, really good, and I miss him. I miss watching him in college because it was not fun watching with the Vikings. But I also...
You're not going to watch him on the NFL field anytime soon.
I considered a little left field with Virginia Tech. And even in a loss against Miami, it was a controversial loss. That overtime, or not overtime, but that Hail Mary play, the Fail Mary against Miami was the whole storyline of it. But the fight that Virginia Tech put up against Miami, that blew my mind. I haven't seen Tech look this good in a while. They're 2-3, but they feel a little better. That felt like a win, even though it was a loss.
Yeah, I mean, and you're talking about a team that's returning, what's the stat? It's like 20 plus starters. Yeah. I think damn near both sides of the field are all starters from last season's team. And and I feel like that game exposed Miami a little bit. It gives a lot of teams from here on out kind of a good blueprint to attack Mario Cristobal and Cam Ward from here on out. As far as the officiating concerns there in that game, I feel like they made the right call at the end of the day, but they didn't make the right call on the field because, per the rules, and it might be different in the NFL, but in college, you have to, in order to overturn a call that's made on the field, there has to be, no question, just clear and present evidence that the call was wrong. And if you go back and you look at that, if that's the verbiage you're going to be using, I didn't see anything that was, giving me any kind of confidence to actually overturn it at that point. So,
no,
I mean, you're kind of in a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Because if you're going to follow the rule to the T, then it shouldn't have been overturned. But could you imagine the rioting happening in Miami if they had scored that touchdown? I would have loved it.
And that's the thing with it is I would have felt awful for Miami in that moment. I know you wouldn't have, but I would have felt awful for them because, it was obvious, there wasn't a Hokie anywhere with that ball at any point of that.
I don't know.
But it was all Miami that came away with the ball. I never saw a hint of the Hokies having it, but like you said, the call on the field was touchdown for Tech, and you have to argue that there was something there. You have to find some shred of doubt, something provable, and I don't think that there was any way to actually overturn that. I think the refs were just scared because they were in Miami, and it would have been
if that play happens in Blacksburg, they don't overturn it.
No, and the ACC would have been on their ass. ACC would have been all over that shit.
Well, and that also brings a little bit of speculation as to, maybe that's kind of adding another layer to the decision that the refs had made. I mean, you have Florida State, who is, for all intents and purposes, shitting the bed this season. I think the ACC was really hoping of propping that team up along with Clemson. And when Florida State has been squandered at this point, and Miami's now 5-0, it's like now you're dealing with TV revenue and, guaranteeing selling tickets out in stadiums and this, that, and the fourth, all the kind of financial aspects that go around with it. The chances of you making a lot more money with Miami being 5-0 than you do with them being 4-1, losing to then 2-2 Virginia Tech team at home.
Yes, exactly. But you know what's weird? All that talk about Tech, still not my team. That I'm watching
who is your
here.
team?
That was
I want to know.
That was one of the very out of left field teams there. The one I'm actually watching is a lot more obvious, a lot more cliche, and I hate to say it, but it's Alabama.
I knew it.
It's the Crimson Tide. Kalen DeBoer, I was already kind of rooting for him as, the successor to the GOAT in Nick Saban. And it's an almost impossible task. It's huge, huge shoes to fill. And that game against Georgia could have gone a completely different route. You said it the other night where if it had taken the other way and Georgia won that game, we're talking about Kalen DeBoer blowing that huge halftime lead against, he blew, but he didn't blow enough. And I think it was a very impressive win for Alabama to be able to hold on, and to be able to fight. I wasn't taking Bama seriously this season, but Jalen Milroe, I was already, I knew I liked him, but he showed me a lot more this game. He showed me pure confidence. He showed me professionalism. He showed me a will to win. And it helps when you have a 17-year-old superstar in Ryan Williams out there performing one of the nastiest juke and tap the circle button moves I have ever fucking seen from a college student, let alone a 17-year-old. He should still be in high school. So Bama, along with defense still rolling out there and making enough plays, Kalen DeBoer looking like a worthy successor in my view already, and Jalen Milroe taking that next step. Bama is one that I'm closely watching to see if they can, it's one thing like we've talked about with, Ryan Day at Ohio State replacing Urban Meyer and kind of you get those few years from the legacy coach and the legendary coach. That's Kalen DeBoer's next test, to see if he's just still in the shadow of Nick Saban and benefiting from Saban's greatness, or if he is actually bringing a lot of the great coaching and the great prowess that he had at Washington now to Alabama.
Right. And before I give you any kind of additional insight into your Alabama, because I don't feel like it's as cliche as you think it is. I feel like if you were to Georgia route, that'd be more cliche, but there were a lot of question marks surrounding Alabama going into the season, between the coaching staff and the players who left and ones they were able to retain. Quick question, since Ryan Day was brought up. He uses Just for Men, right?
Oh, he's been using it since he was a child.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because his beard is awfully dark.
It is the most stark black beard I have ever seen. Like that shit, like if it's in a hot enough light, like that shit's melting down a little bit, like Rudy Giuliani when he was at the hotel.
Oh, I'm sure he has to. Leave him alone. But no, I feel like he has to use it because the gray hairs that he's probably getting there, being at the helm for the Buckeyes, it does not shock me. But you bring up two very large key players for the Alabama offense in Jalen Milroe and Ryan Williams. And actually, Reid, for your knowledge, unless you didn't know, Ryan Williams was actually one of the recruits going into this season that actually decommitted after Saban had announced he retired, and Kalen DeBoer and company were actually able to retain him, which thank God they did, because on 16 receptions, he's amassed almost 500 yards and 5 touchdowns at the age of 17.
Yeah.
I am excited to see, especially with, these offenses now, fast paced, they're taking shots down the field. He's going to be a talent to watch for years to come. And then Jalen Milroe, I mean, hell, he's not only the leading passer on the team, but he's also the leading rusher on the team. Almost passed for almost 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. And then on the ground, I mean, he's rushed for 52 carries, 8 touchdowns, almost 300 yards. So, I mean, he's one of those dual threat quarterbacks that you definitely need at the next level in the NFL to make it work from top to bottom. So I'm excited to see what he has left in the tank from here on out, because Reid, this schedule is daunting for Alabama and for Georgia. I mean, for the rest of the season, as far as ranked opponents go for Alabama, they're on the road against Tennessee. Then they're right after that at home against Missouri. Then they're on the road against LSU. And then they close out the season on the road against Oklahoma and then at home against Auburn, which that Auburn-Alabama Iron Bowl game is always one for the ages, no matter what status of the teams are going on, especially since Hugh Freeze is a fraud in Auburn. But one thing that I really enjoyed watching that game, not just Georgia losing, because fuck Georgia, but one thing I feel like a lot of fans were waiting for to see from Kalen DeBoer was some kind of intensity. And if you go back and watch that game and see him running up and down the sideline and just screaming like Nick Saban was, I think that is the energy that a lot of these Crimson Tide fans are waiting for. And they definitely got it this past week.
Oh yeah. I really do believe that he is starting to show himself as a worthy successor. And I thought it was a genius move of Bama to go out and get him. We talked about that when the hire first happened. He was an impressive coach when what he did at Washington, especially with like the relationship that he had with Michael Penix Jr. and the relationship that he crafts with his players. Of course, he's going to have Saban down his neck. Like, Saban is still involved with the team. He's still involved with the program, or as Kirby Smart would say,
program.
And that shadow will be there, but I think Kalen DeBoer can start to create his own light and get out of that shadow. And while you said fuck Georgia, it's perfect time to play it. Fuck
Georgia.
There we go.
I love it. Now I'm interested to see if your player is going to be one of these players we kind of already highlighted on the Alabama offense, or if it's going to be somewhere out of left field. Who's your player that you're going to be watching?
It was going to be Ryan Williams. I thought it was going to be Ryan Williams. I wanted it to be Ryan Williams, but that felt like everybody's going for Ryan Williams. Could we count, and especially going forward, especially if Alabama has a primetime game on whatever network they'll be on, can we count how many times throughout the game that they will tell us that Ryan Williams is 17 years old? Because
is it going to be like Taylor Swift watch? But it's going to be for Ryan Williams?
Like Taylor Swift watch or Brian Robinson's first season with the Commanders, where it would take, I think, a full 10 seconds for them to blow their load on Brian Robinson was shot. And now he's here playing. So, no, it's not Ryan Williams for me because everybody's been talking about Ryan Williams. I wanted to bring him up during that moment there. It is a little out of left field. It's somebody that people have talked about a little bit, but I was watching a good amount of Kentucky Ole Miss last weekend. And huge upset there. Kentucky taking down Ole Miss. But Kentucky's had a couple of these games this year where the Wildcats are, and they do this every year. They're sneaky. They're a little bit of dream killers. They make you sweat. They make you nervous. They make you work for it. And took down Ole Miss. But the person that had my eye the whole time, big ass boy on the defensive line. I love D linemen. That's where I came up playing football in high school, was on the D line. Deion Walker on the defensive line. This big boy. He's listed 6'6", 244 pounds, or 344 pounds, excuse me. Definitely not 244. This motherfucker is a big boy. And the stats aren't going to be crazy for him right here, right? Like, he's a junior on the D-line right now. He has half a sack listed to him for the season right now. Last season, he had 7.5 sacks with the team. But when you watch him, when you watch that team, he's getting double-teamed almost every time by the O-line. He's getting double-teamed, usually center and guard are pressing down on him because the motherfucker is so big and so strong. Like, you just see shit collapsing because of him. He is one of these players that reminds me a little bit of, what was his name from Georgia? Shit, it could be any of those guys from Georgia.
Oh, you just say anybody.
You throw any of them.
There.
Deion Walker looks like he belongs on the Georgia defensive line. That's what I'm trying to say. And he's playing at Kentucky. I think people need to check this guy out. This kid is going to be a massive threat in the NFL and a huge potential for the NFL, because not only is he strong, not only is he intimidatingly big, he's fast too. He's chasing down plays. He's always in on every single play. He's got that ethic. He's got that prowess. He's got that awareness pushing through. If he can he's got the power moves. If he can work in a little bit more on the finesse side and starting to get some of those swivel and swim moves to get in and not rely just purely on power, you've got somebody who could wind up being like a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. Let's say next year. I don't see him coming out this season after all this. But if he goes on a tear, from this quiet start and can amass some sacks here, Deion Walker is somebody I'm really curious about and eager to keep watching with Kentucky football.
Yeah, no, I like that shout. Given the little guys a little bit of a platform here on College Shame Day. But you're right. His stats aren't really there compared to last year's stats by any means. But you bring up one intangible that you can't quantify, and that's how effective you are from drawing extra defenders against you from rushing in. I mean, you look at this Kentucky Wildcats defense, they're only averaging about 166 yards passing, and they're only allowing under 80 yards rushing per game. not even to, I think when I looked at the stat earlier I was looking at SEC teams earlier while we were doing some show prep. I believe that team now is only allowing like 12 or 13 points a game. So, and part of that reasoning is because you can't just leave one person on someone like Deion Walker. You have to double team him. You have to have at least somebody go up there and maybe chip him a little bit. But, the size alone, 6'6", 345, he's still young. Yeah, I don't think he's done growing. But one thing I think is interesting, Reid, is that he's from Detroit, Michigan. Could you imagine if Dan Campbell got his hands on a guy like that there on the defensive line with Aiden Hutchinson and everyone they have there in Detroit?
He screams Dan Campbell grit. Like, that's the word I was looking for. He's got the grit. He's got the moxie. Oh, my God. Yeah, Campbell would love him.
Oh, well, you know what? Who I'm loving? And I'm going to stay with Boise State because Ashton Jeanty, he is a man among boys. Yes, he did play Washington State last week where he got those 4 touchdowns, 250 yards rushing. But the put in comparison between where he's at right now versus last year as a whole. Last year as a whole, Reid, he ran for 220 rushes, 1,300 yards, 14 touchdowns, average 6 yards a carry. This point in the season, he's only rushed 82 times for 845 yards, 13 touchdowns, and he's now averaging 10 yards a pop. Like, I don't know what you need to do to slow this guy down. I knew he was going to have a big game last week, but I didn't think it was going to go nearly sideways for that Washington State team like it did last week. And I mean, and you look at the teams left on their schedule. I mean, he's just gonna feast. I mean, Utah State, Hawaii, Nevada, Wyoming, Oregon, like a lot of these teams aren't ranked. The only ranked opponent they have here in the next couple of weeks is they're on the road against UNLV, who also looks like they haven't slowed down at all since their quarterback wanted to leave because he wasn't getting paid. But like, is there anything you can do against a talent like Ashton Jeanty to slow him down?
No, that's the great and beautiful thing about college running backs and great college running backs are when they look like a man amongst men or a man amongst boys. Good God, they are. Because you brought him up and you brought him to my attention last week on the show. And I immediately thought of you as soon as I saw that highlight pop up during one of the other games that it popped up saying it was like you need to watch Ashton Jeanty right now as he just barrels through the line. Oh my God, dude was like a bowling ball, a wrecking ball, and with speed. Like he looked like what Derrick Henry was looking like in that Sunday night game against the Bills, taking off down the field. Like, he is a threat. He is awesome.
Well, and the crazy thing is, he's 5'9", 215.
That's what's insane. Like,
that's the crazy thing.
He's not like he's nothing imposing, but the way he plays like he's Derrick Henry's size.
Right, or like Brandon Jacobs from back in the day, who was 6'4", almost 300 pounds. Right. I mean, you just when you have that kind of size, you're just running downhill and you're not stopping for anybody. No. But with a man of that frame and still able to deliver, quick speed, elusiveness, some strength behind him. I feel after the last 2 seasons, especially, he's going to be somebody who I don't think is going to come back for his senior season. He's going to come out in the draft because there's plenty of NFL teams who would love to get their hands on them. He's from Jacksonville, Florida. There's a rumor circulating right now, Reid, that Etienne there in Jacksonville might be some trade bait for the Jags to get rid of. I mean, bring in the hometown kid and Ashton, throw him in the backfield.
I could see it. I could like that. I would even like it. Etienne is never somebody who's like particularly healthy in Jacksonville. We talk about thunder and lightning. You brought up Brandon Jacobs. That's how it used to be in New York. Brandon Jacobs and Ahmad Bradshaw, that combo, that good thunder and lightning. You got to have a classic thunder and lightning. Etienne is the lightning. Gentry is the thunder. Shit, keep the Jacksonville connection flowing. It'll be great.
Oh, yeah.
That's how you fix Trevor Lawrence.
That's how we do it. We get him someone in the backfield.
Yeah. And
folks.
New coach, Urban Meyer.
Oh, God, please, no. He just needs to go to some retirement home. But I can tell you one place that Urban Meyer shouldn't go to. It's going to be anywhere around Antonio Pierce. Antonio Pierce. Folks, before we get into, the meat and potatoes, as a certain co-host here likes to say, as far as game of the week and things to look out for this Saturday morning, there's a couple new developments happening in the world of college football. Reid, more namely, Antonio Pierce is in some hot water. For folks who don't know, Antonio Pierce, the now head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders, he's just received an 8-year show cause order for recruiting violations during his time at Arizona State. This was around the same time of COVID-19, the restrictions to facilitate impermissible recruiting contact with not just one, not two. I'm not going to count all the way up like LeBron did because it was 35 prospects, Reid. 35 prospects, unauthorized tryouts and facility tours, engaging and tampering with a player at another school, traveling out of state during a recruiting dead period. I mean, everything and anything that you could possibly do, what you shouldn't do, it seems like Antonio Pierce did, because he's been identified as the ringleader of these violations. I mean, there were some reports out there that he was actually even exerting some pressure on staff to comply with his orders and being a bully about it, which there might be some half truth in there. He does come off as a very intimidating individual. So it's kind of hard to tell somebody like that no.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you kind of see it. You kind of see it with the Raiders right now. We talked a little bit about it on Ricks versus Gricks, and talking about these business decisions and how they'll make business decisions with the players. He's got some bully and some players still left in him. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and for those who don't know what this is going to entail as far as an 8-year show cause order, there's some consequences tied to this. If he is hired, which I don't want to tip my hat because you're going to be listening to Shame Day before you listen to Ricks versus Gricks. We might be talking about Antonio Pierce a little bit there in Las Vegas, but if he ever is hired by an NCAA school during the show cause period, ending in October of 2032, Pierce will face a 1-year suspension. And he'll also be prohibited from contact with coaches or players during that time. So whoever hires him, you're just hiring him paying him to stay at home. I mean, hire me. I'll stay at home for a year.
We'll do that. Bob Iger. Listen to us.
Right.
We were talking to you.
And it wasn't even just the impermissible contact with recruits, but I mean, there were some issues during the investigation by means of providing false or misleading information, or even outright refusing to disclose financial records. Reportedly believed he wouldn't face serious consequences due to his wealth. So he's just another rich guy trying to throw his money around. There are some other penalties associated with this as well. There's a 5-year show cause order issued for former Arizona State analyst Anthony Garnett. And currently, Arizona State is facing a 4-year probation, including vacated games, reduced scholarships, and recruiting restrictions. But that's another team who, even through adversity right now, they seem to be doing a lot of great things there in Arizona. So I'm very excited to see when that probation's finally lifted so they can compete and get some of these restrictions lifted, because the people who are there weren't even the ones who did it, but they're having to deal with the brunt of the punishments. And of course, the Raiders have declined to comment. Reid, are you surprised?
No. I mean, they're for real. They don't need to talk about this right now.
Right. And talk about for real. I mean, I feel like every week we have an episode of College Shame Day. There's some new lawsuit. Reid, Les Miles is suing LSU.
Oh my God. Les Miles is still alive?
Actually, the lawsuit, it's been moved from federal court to state court. So I guess the federal court's like, no, go handle this down there in the bayou. We don't want to hear this. The initial filing of the lawsuit was first in about the summer of last year, summer 23, claiming LSU vacated 37 victories from 2012 to 2015 without allowing Les Miles a chance to even defend his record. Miles argues that the vacated wins significantly affect his eligibility for the National Football Foundation's College Football Hall of Fame. That's a mouthful.
That is a lot.
Which the foundation is also named as a defense. Well, and even the Hall of Fame's named as a defendant. So, I guess they really want. I mean, I don't think, from all the reports and things that I saw in regards to this change from federal to state court, I couldn't find a specific reason why it was given that decision to switch it. I know Les Miles, the only thing I saw was that the attorney declined to comment. The state lawsuit was filed in September of last year. Right afterwards, the state lawsuit includes claims like those in the federal case, but also adds that the defendants violated the state constitution. They argue that Miles cannot sue because he lacks a property right. A win is a win. I mean, It's not his technically. And then, as far as ruling context, the vacating of the victory was based on the NCAA ruling that former LSU offensive lineman Vidal Alexander received financial benefits that violated NCAA rules while playing, which now seems to be the norm. So he's getting punished now. Same thing we talked about last week with Reggie Bush. A lot of people are kind of coming out of the woodwork now that a lot of these financial benefits are now okay to do for the most part. A lot of these people who were punished in the past want to right the wrong that was given to them. I don't know how much water you feel that Les Miles has in his fan boat down there in the bayou. Do you see some kind of meeting on the sides in the middle, or do you think this is just going to be some long drawn out process because he's not getting his way?
No, it's going to be a long drawn out process. They're going to tell him to go eat grass like you used to back in the day and move on and have a good day, Les. Like I don't really see much. I don't see much to this. He can make a mess out of it, I'm sure, and continue to put his name behind it, go on shows. Hey, shit, maybe he can come on here. Maybe we'll prop him up a little bit. Maybe he can come on here and talk about it. We'll talk to him.
Hey, we can make a new segment for we can get a new shame talk segment in there.
Yeah.
Instead of just once a year. We already did that one already this year, folks. If you didn't go back and watch that. Gave all my insights on Florida State's shambles right now, but maybe we get Les Miles on here to just rant for 45 minutes.
Miles of shame. That's a good segment.
Well, speaking about shame, and I guess we'll stay in the SEC. Last little story I want to talk to you about really quick, get your insight, is the Big Ten and the SEC. They are just becoming the bullies of college football because they are now teaming up. The Big Ten SEC athletic directors will be meeting in Nashville, Tennessee next week to discuss a potential football scheduling partnership and preferences for automatic bids into the college football playoff. This joint advisory committee they were formed in earlier part of this year, I believe January, February, March, somewhere in that area. That includes university presidents, chancellors, and ADs for both conferences. SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey and Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti will also attend the one-day meeting with the athletic directors. Now, this is for me, if I'm hearing this, if I am anyone associated as far as ADs or the commissioners of any of these other conferences, the Pac-12 seems to be on the resurgence now. Looks like they might be having some kind of merger with the Mountain West teams. The ACC is trying to find any kind of leverage they can. The Big 12 is just trying to stay out of it. They're the Switzerland in the situation. But if you're those three conferences and you're seeing these two teaming up, wouldn't you just say, nah, fuck them. If they're going to do this, we're going to do this.
Oh,
you can't be the college football championship. You can't be the college football champion if you're only just playing two conferences.
Right. And that's exactly how it's going to come off. And it's going to be a war for that. Like, what do you, because you were more educated on this than me. What do you see the outcome being from this? Is there anything tangible from these meetings? I mean,
they're the cocks in the hen house, man. They're the marquee teams for both from the top down for both the Big Ten and the SEC. I mean, you see these lucrative deals they have with TV rights and the ESPN contracts and things like that. I mean, people are paying top dollar to see these teams. So, I mean, if you want to put out a product that's going to make you money, you're going to put out the teams that are going to make you the most money, and those are coming from there. So I fear that it's not going to play out exactly how they hope it's going to be. The one thing that blows my mind is getting automatic bids to the college football playoff simply for being part of one of those two conferences.
No, I don't like that. That just comes that is so blatantly gross and so perfectly out there. Like, come on.
Right, because if I don't know if you looked into it, but the proposal for the guaranteed bids, there's 14 playoff spots. They want 8 of them. So that's going to get a little pushback. And harping back on that contract, I mean, their new college football playoff contract, 6 years, $7.8 billion contract announced in March between college football and ESPN, covering the 2026-2027 season and including playoff protections for various champions. I mean, and then you're kind of looking at the little guy, the FBS conferences and independents like Notre Dame, they've pretty much given up control for any kind of playoff format, and they're just hoping to get the scraps of just getting in there based off of ranking in the AP poll.
It's crazy, greedy, blatant times we live in, man.
All I'll say, thank God that there shouldn't be any concrete decisions made this next week. I know the Big Ten athletic directors stated they're planning to prepare some talking points at their regular meeting on Wednesday. So maybe that will give us some better insight. But this is definitely something that everybody, not just who are going to benefit off of it in the Big Ten and the SEC, but the little guys out there, pay attention. Because if they're going to get away with this, then the other three need to band together, and it's just going to be an all-out war.
Yep, Galactus is coming. He's about to eat your shit.
Oh, boy. Galactus. You know what? I like that name, Galactus. You know who in college football that I feel would be Galactus? Because he's just taken over everything at every level he's been in. Curt Cignetti.
Yeah.
Head coach of the Indiana Hoosiers. Because, folks, I'm going to announce it right now. This week's game of the week here at College Shame Day is the number 23 Indiana Hoosiers, who are now 5-0, traveling to Northwestern, who are 2-2. I mean, Reid, you looked at this. We talked about this in length the other day, looking at this schedule for this week. I mean, College Game Day for ESPN, they'll be traveling to the Miami and Cal game. Marshawn Lynch has already been announced as being the guest picker. So I am very fearful of Lee Corso and Nick Saban, having them being bookended by not only Marshawn Lynch, but also Pat McAfee. They need to be, can they be sequestered off into their own, like the kids table during the holidays? Like, can they get like their own like boomer table so they're away from that mess, please?
No, they're 100% just going to continue to irritate and piss off Nick Saban with all of that. I mean, listen, they have Marshawn Lynch, but we're going to Northwestern. Like you just announced it there, so I think we can get as an exciting alumni of Northwestern. That
Zach
is
Braff,
Warren Beatty. Warren Beatty's got Marshawn Lynch energy. I mean, come on.
Let's dig up Jerry Springer. Let's bring him back out.
Jerry Springer died? When did I miss that? Oh,
I'm pretty sure he died. Am I misinformed?
Oh my God. You never know because
he died in 2023. Yeah, he died last year, dude. Where were you at?
Oh my God, I never know because the reruns will just run till the day he's resurrected.
You know what? They got Marshawn Lynch. You know who we get as Northwest alum? We get royalty. Well, prior royalty. We can get Meghan, Duchess of Sussex.
Really?
Sussex.
She went to Northwestern?
Meghan Markle.
Okay.
She went to Northwest. I guess she went there.
Okay.
I don't know, but hey, either way, folks, I've been trying to open up Reid's wallet to get us to go on the road to some of these games, and he's saying, no, Scott, we're going to be streaming them. We can't do this just yet. Maybe when Les Miles comes on and we can get some lawsuit money out of him, we can go to one of these games. But going back to the primary focus for this game and why it is my game of the week, Reid, we always talk about players to watch, teams to watch, matchups that are marquee. I mean, Clemson and Florida State are playing each other at 7:00 on for all the hope that I want to have in that game, I need to just kind of temper my expectations because I'm very fearful for the Florida State Seminoles playing at home. But we never really prop up the coaches who are doing it right. Of course, we just talked in length about Kalen DeBoer and all the great things he's doing down there in Alabama. But like I said, Curt Cignetti, head coach for Indiana, and he has the definition of a winning mentality. I mean, he's known for his confidence. In one of his interviews stating, "I win, Google me." I mean, you gotta love the swagger and the confidence coming from your head coach like that. Because I mean, he has been successful everywhere he's been. Like I said, currently right now, Indiana's 5-0. That marking only the third time in school history they've started this strong. Previously in 1910 and 1967. They're currently 2-0 in the Big Ten, aiming for their first 3-0 start since 1989, averaging almost 50 points a game this year compared to 22 last year in 2023. Oh, and the team has scored 30-plus points in all of their games for the first time since the year 2000. I mean, you remember him at JMU. I mean, he brought a lot of kids over from JMU, and I was very intrigued to see him make that jump. I don't feel like this is going to be his final resting place in college football. I think this is going to be that one big springboard to a huge Power 5 conference. Reid, am I out of line for thinking that way?
No, you're not. No, you're not at all. This is always seemingly the plan. This is what we talk about with so many coaches. And yeah, he'll wind up at one of these massive schools whenever there's an available opening. We could see that. Could see that with one of these Florida schools. Maybe not this year, but maybe the year after. I don't know.
Hey.
I don't think
maybe Dabo hangs him up. Maybe goes to Clemson. Maybe Dabo hangs him. He's been flirting with that for years now.
Right, that's been a big thing for a couple of years. So yeah, we could see him wind up there. If Ryan Day winds up getting canned, and gets canned as much as his can of hairspray, then yeah, you could see him at Ohio State. Who knows?
Right. A couple key players, look at quarterback Curtis Rourke, transfer quarterback, made significant impact straight out the gate with his strong passing stats. He is one of 31 transfers, half of which from James Madison, flipping the roster and created a completely new competitive team. Focus on building a successful culture and high expectations. Quoted saying, "If we go to a bowl, it's a great year." Bullshit. No, he doesn't want to just go to a bowl. He wants to compete. I mean, Indiana is one of those blue blood, blue chip basketball schools. I've never heard of their football team being competitive. So with this team coming completely out of nowhere, I had to stop and think for a second, and then I realized who their head coach was, and it makes a lot of sense. As far as the future goes, Indiana seeks to improve their record, potentially to reach 6-0 with the win over Northwestern this week. I think Cignetti's, I believe his goal at the beginning of the year, he wanted to finish 10-2, which could lead into a college football playoff berth. So fingers crossed there. But instilling a new culture and these roster changes have definitely set Indiana on a path for success in the Big Ten. A couple of cool stats for you, Reid. Like I stated before, first time they've started 5-0 since 1967. This is going to be one of their stronger starts to the Big Ten record as well. Offensively, 500 plus yards in consecutive games for the first time since 2019. And they finally have some stability at quarterback after using 9 different quarterbacks over the past 3 seasons in Indiana.
I mean, that's what you want when you're trying to, do like you say, trying to kind of get out of the shadow of the basketball, corner of the school. Indiana is a massive basketball school, and when you get a coach like that and trying to finally make some consistency and some improvements and some power, boom, you could actually finally get out of the shadow and create a name for yourself in a completely different market of the sport and still keep basketball. You'll never escape the shadow of basketball fully, but football is so fucking big. It could provide the opportunity. We see it, but we talked about Kentucky earlier.
Right, and I mean, talking about big, that defense in Indiana is stout. Like, I don't know what they're feeding those kids. I mean, it's led by linebacker Aiden Fisher, leading the league with 50 total sacks. I mean, he's capable of disrupting. Scary. And if you actually go up and look him up, you wouldn't expect it out of him. You really wouldn't expect it. He's one of those sneaky players. I am very scared for the starting quarterback there in Northwestern, Jake Lausch. He switched in after Mike Wright's struggles this year. Currently only completing barely 50% of passes. Not really amounting for much, but this defense is going to feast. I am excited to see what kind of clinic they put on there in Chicago. But one thing that I'm not excited for is the lame of the week this week, Reid. Western Michigan, who is 1-3, at Ball State, who is also 1-3. Ill. Just ill.
Yeah. Where is Ball State?
Indiana.
Yeah. Wouldn't think about it.
I believe. Indiana. Muncie, Indiana. That's right.
It is a Ball State. They love ball.
Oh, folks, but that is bringing us towards the final stretch this week here on College Shame Day, and we're saving the best for last because, Reid, I think the folks forgot. They start listening to the show Saturday morning, December. Oh God, please not December. October.
We're not there yet. Yeah.
What that means? That means the calendar's turned. The calendar's turned to a new month.
Yeah.
And here at College Shame Day, we have a brand new monthly giveaway of a $25 Fanatics gift card all you have to do is follow the Instagram page at 323 College Shame Day. That's all you have to do to get an entry in.
As easy as that.
But what you should do to get the hedge bets in your own favor, get the chip stacked in your corner.
Right.
Like, comment, share, interact with us. Ask me if I'm crazy. Ask Reid if he's feeling better. I'm sure he'd appreciate some kind of good wishes and some kind words to be shared.
Tell me you hope I stay sick. Whatever you need to do.
Right. I'm sure the fellas at Barstool, they don't want you to stay sick because they want to keep stealing content from us.
They need to be able to keep their ideas going. They're asking, hey, are you ready? Hey, what do you got coming up this week?
That's right. But before we announce the winner of that fantastic $25 Finesse gift card, we got to get to the fun part of the show. And that's the Wheel of Degenerate, folks. That's right. Bring up the wheel, Reid. Bring it up. Oh, look at it.
The Barstool Sports Wheel of Degenerates?
I know. It's crazy. It's like we're copying them.
That's insane.
We've been doing this. You know what? Rant time really quick, Reid. We've been doing Wheel of Degenerate now for a full calendar year.
Yep.
A full calendar year. Folks, how many days? Reid, how many days are in a year?
At least 363, but some would say 365.
Right. Sometimes it's 366.
Sometimes it's 366.
Who the French knows?
It's
But
2024.
all I
It
know,
can do whatever it wants.
right? And apparently Barstool Sports and Dave Portnoy feel like they can do whatever they want too. But no, here, College Shame Day presented by 323, Reid Murphy, Scott Ellia. We have been spinning this wheel every show of College Shame Day to build a 5-pick parlay so that way I can win, Reid can win, you can win. We haven't won yet, but this is going to be the week because I am putting all of my energy and I am just manifesting right now because apparently Barstool Sports feels like, oh, I think we struck gold on original content. Let us spin a wheel and we can build a parlay and we can just ride it from there.
I'm
Reid,
sorry. It's they have the.
This is wild because I know you, I know me, I know Zoo, I know Luis and everyone who's associated with the 323 network, how much just sports content we just consume on a daily basis. We're gluttons for sports content, all sports. And I have never once, outside of this show, this great programming show, and folks, if you haven't seen The Wheel, make sure to go to YouTube at 323 Reid. And you can see it in all its glory. They use the same fucking program we use too. And it's like, have you seen the wheel being used at any other point in time in the last year?
No, I've never seen this be done before. And like, this is what we have to do. We have to get ourselves a physical wheel. We have to get an actual wheel and have it like in both places. We need two wheels actually. And we go straight to war. We get our own fucking Wheel of Degenerates, and maybe we have like a degenerate actually spin the wheel.
Right. And you know what I'm hoping? Just to add more fuel to the fire, Dave Portnoy and your one bite everyone knows the rules. Because your number 10 Michigan Wolverines are traveling on the road against Washington this week. That's one of the teams on the wheel. I hope we pick them. Because you know what I'm going to do? I'm picking the Huskies. Fuck the Wolverines. Fuck Dave Portnoy. Fuck Barstool Sports. I'm going to pick them. You know what? And other games are on this list too. Some great games. UCLA on the road against Penn State. Number 9 Missouri on the road, which what I would have been able to give the College Shame Day game of the week, but I don't want to give Texas A&M anything, and I already talked about Missouri once this year. I don't want to talk about them again. SMU, who just destroyed by Florida State Seminoles, they're on the road against number 22 Louisville. Iowa, who's not even going to put up more than 9 points against Ohio State on the road, who's ranked number 3. Another game that I feel is going to go down to the wire somehow, some way. Auburn traveling to number 4 Georgia. Number 12 Ole Miss, the team that you talked about, who got upset by the Kentucky Wildcats, traveling to South Carolina. The College Shame Day game of the week, number 23 Indiana at Northwestern. Number 1 Alabama traveling to Vanderbilt. Number 15 Clemson at Florida State in Tallahassee. Utah State at number 21 Boise State. Number 4 Tennessee at Arkansas. Michigan, fuck you. USC traveling to Minnesota. Baylor at number 16 Iowa State. And to round it out, the ESPN College Game Day. And I don't think I could have hated anybody more than Kirk Herbstreit until now, Reid. I don't think I could have fathomed somebody that I am just disappointed in. You know what?
That's
what it is.
That's a dad word. Whoa.
That's what I am. How dare you steal the little guy's content? taking a book out of the Levitard show.
Right. Acting like we can't be bought. We could be bought.
Right.
They could buy the wheel. Buy us.
Dave, pay me. I'm probably drastically cheaper than anybody you got on your payroll. I'll come do it.
Fuck you until you pay me. And then it's fuck us.
Yeah. Let's spin the wheel. The original wheel.
Spin it.
Spin it. Oh, God. We're going to have to take the under in this game.
Oh.
That's right. Iowa at number 3, Ohio State. Oh, God. I think Ryan Day hurt us.
I think there's a little spot for drama with that game. A little, it's fucking
Oh, I think Iowa could sneak in there?
Yeah.
Drama! Wow. And for the second week in a row, folks, we got the College Shame Day game of the week on the betting slip this week because number 23 Indiana at Northwestern. I love it. You know what? It would make so much more sense if not only is the Michigan lumped in here now, but also the Miami game, so that way we can just shit on everybody.
Yep.
No, never mind.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
Wind up.
That makes sense. Baylor at number 16, Iowa State. The Cyclones, Reid, have come out of nowhere this year. Brock Purdy's alma mater.
Good.
We all know how much you love Brock.
Who's the quarterback for Iowa State? I could look that up.
I don't know.
I'm a producer.
I don't care enough.
Do that.
Oh, look at this. Auburn at number 4, Georgia. A game where I would like to call upset, but I don't think Georgia and Kirby Smart want to be upstaged at home after that upsetting loss against Alabama on the road. And the 5th and final game on the Wheel of Degenerate betting slip. Would you look at that?
Look at that.
Would you look at that?
Couldn't script that.
Folks, you couldn't have scripted that any better. The 5th and final game on the Wheel of Degenerate betting slip is the number 10 Michigan Wolverines at Washington. Just to recap, not only them, the Iowa Hawkeyes traveling to Ohio State, Auburn traveling to Georgia, the College Shame Day game of the week, Indiana Hoosiers versus Northwestern, and Baylor at number 16, Iowa State. Reid, we spoke it into existence. How do we do that?
It's just, that's what hate can do for you. Like some people talk about, like, we need to get hate out of the world. You see what hate generated for us.
Right, and I can't wait.
We've gotten into the dark arts.
I can't wait to smash that big W button on FanDuel later, make this parlay, and say, fuck you, Dave Portnoy. That's what I gotta say.
Get out of here.
But I think that's enough hate for one show, Reid.
Right, yeah, we don't
Let's end this on a good note. Let's bring up the wheel again. Let's bring it up.
Yes. Do it again.
Look at it. It's the wheel again, Reid. But this isn't a wheel of
Holy
shame.
Shit.
This is a wheel of winners. That's right. Look at all this. All these names. Fantastic. Everybody, thank you again for supporting us, the show, the network, everyone involved in last month. Great interaction with a lot of these people that are on this list. But there is one name that definitely sticks out more than most, and that is D. Miriam, number 1, because he caught wind of the giveaway. He caught wind of the show and the content, and he is loving every minute of it. And he, like I said, folks, he bet on himself, just like how everyone in this world should do. Bet on yourself, because that's all you can count on in this world. And I'll be very shocked if he doesn't win. I will be very shocked.
I will be legitimately sad if he doesn't. He's done so much work.
Oh, God, let's just rip off the Band-Aid. And, of course, you don't see Zoo on here, because, Zoo, you don't qualify, dude.
Damn it, Zoo.
You don't qualify. Yeah, look at the wheel. Yeah. I think it was already figured. D. Miriam, number 1, congratulations. You are the now proud owner of a $25 Fanatics gift card to buy your own swag. Congratulations. I actually went on there and I creeped a little bit on his Instagram page. And it looks like Mr. Miriam is due for a child. So what better way to spend your now hard-earned, that's right, not easy-earned, this was hard-earned. He put in the work, he did what he needed to do. Buy some swag for that little bundle of joy. I don't know when the due date is, but congratulations to you. And folks, don't count yourselves out. It's October.
Yeah.
It's a new month. We're rolling right into the spooky season. Things might get a little spooky from here until then. Keep your ears and your eyes peeled at the Instagram page for College Shame Day at 323 College Shame Day. And for those who didn't win this month, don't fret. You're still subscribed. You can still win this month. Maybe you can get a spooky Halloween shirt, spooky Halloween hat, spooky Halloween costume. Reid, what would you get with that $25 gift card?
I would love to get a Ryan Day costume, which is just some just for men. That's just like just coated all over your face to the point it's almost a little controversial, but you're not there yet. But
you never connect. Never connect it.
Just don't go. If you do connect, just don't go into politics in the future.
No, I have no intention on doing that.
You never know.
Oh, sound advice from Reid. Reid of the 323 Network, thank you so much for joining us. Can you please remind them where they can find all the great content that you produce?
Of course.
I can't get enough of it.
They can go to at 323Reid. You can follow me on all social media at 323REID and the 323 Network on YouTube. You could be watching us right there. And if you are and you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. We got so much great content. We got, a shit ton of NFL content every week. But we're getting into guest picker season, so we're going to have a variety of different things. Spooky season's coming up. We have our Halloween spectacular, our annual Halloween spectacular coming up. So plenty of fun stuff. Subscribe, follow us on all the things. Appreciate you if you already are.
Absolutely. You know what? And I'll do the shameless plug too. How about that? I'm also going to thank everybody for tuning in to the 323 Network podcast. We appreciate your support and passion for college football as always. Please don't forget to subscribe and catch our latest episodes wherever podcasts can be found. Like I've said in the past, I'm not your dad. Go listen to wherever you want to listen to. And also, again, don't miss out on our monthly giveaways for a chance to win that $25 Fanatics gift card to grab your own brand new favorite game day gear. Remember, all you got to do is follow. That's all you got to do. Just hit that follow button. Want to throw a couple likes in there, get a couple extra, entries in there, then maybe you be D Miriam #1 next month.
Shout out to D Miriam #1.
Shout out to him. And then till next time, folks, please make sure to embrace the shame. Thank you for listening and have a great college football Saturday.
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
Fair enough.
Sorry, Nick.
Fair enough. All right, sorry.